So we'll go ahead and get started for today. Maybe an easy pose. Maybe you're sitting on a meditation cushion. Maybe your sit bones are directly touching your mat. Go ahead and ground down into the space. Paying attention to your environment. Noticing that there is nothing threatening around you. You're in a safe space and you're safe to practice today. I invite you to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Maybe softening your gaze or closing your eyes completely. Maybe you have your palms resting on your knees, palms facing the sky if you need extra energy from the universe today. And wherever you're at, go ahead and take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhaling completely out of the mouth. Taking another deep cleansing breath in through the nose. Exhaling out of the mouth. I invite you to bring your hands to prayer center, setting an intention for this practice. Maybe just to have a productive day today. Maybe sending some healing and loving energy to one of your loved ones. Whatever that intention is, go ahead and set it with yourself privately. Taking a deep inhale through your nose to seal the intention. Exhaling the intention out to the universe. Go ahead and notice what's happening in your body right now. Noticing any parts of the body that are holding on to any extra tension. Noticing the pace of your breath, the rise and the fall of your belly. Maybe you're noticing your tummy grazing your shirt as your stomach expands. Your belly button moving away from your shirt as your stomach constricts. Grounding down deeply into the earth, knowing that the earth is always here to support you and ground you into your practice. We'll go ahead and move into a breathing exercise followed by a short meditation. We'll practice just a few rounds of calming breath, inhaling for 8 seconds, holding the breath for 4 seconds, and exhaling for 8 seconds. If you're unable to hold your breath for 8 seconds, or you just need a little bit of a tweak, you can go ahead and inhale for 6 seconds, hold the breath for 3 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. Do whatever feels comfortable for you today. I'm gonna do the 8 count, and I'll start you guys off. First, beginning to just notice the natural pace of your breath as it is now. Maybe feeling into your heartbeat. Paying attention to your internal self, something we tend to neglect on the day-to-day. Maybe you want to just really connect with your body right now. I invite you to take your palms and place them on your heart chakra. Maybe giving yourself a nice chest massage, opening up that chakra. Practicing love for yourself, unconditional love for everyone, but ourselves first. Maybe you want to bring your hands to your belly. Noticing how your fingers spread as you inhale and your stomach expands. Noticing how your fingers come closer together as you exhale the breath out of your body. Now coming into a regular easy pose, palms resting on your knees, maybe the backs of your hands resting on your knees, depending on how you feel today. Remember, this is your practice. And we'll go ahead and move into our calming breath. Inhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding the breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for 8. Holding the breath for 4. Exhaling for 8 counts. Now going at your own pace, inhaling for 8. Holding for 4 counts. Exhaling for 8. Keep going at your own pace, paying attention to the breath, paying attention to the body. Finish whatever round you're on, and then return to a normal breath. Noticing if anything feels any different in your body or your mind after practicing calming breath. Paying attention to our body, noticing any new sensations. Noticing what thoughts come up. And we'll begin to move into our quick silent meditation. Maybe you notice that your mind is wandering and following thoughts you have, and that's okay. Our minds wander. Just remembering to bring your attention back to your breath, or back to the rise and the fall of your belly. Whatever grounds you and keeps you focused in your body. Noticing thoughts as they flow by, letting them go, acknowledging them, and then letting go. Maybe you repeat a word to yourself over and over again to keep yourself focused, consciously focused. any word like tree. And we'll stay here for about 3 minutes. Beginning to come back to your body. Maybe you wandered off, and that's okay. This is a lifelong practice. Maybe introducing some gentle movements to your fingers and your toes. Maybe just rocking back and forth like a tree blowing in the wind. If your eyes are closed, you can go ahead and blink them open. Reacclimating yourself with your physical space. Noticing how you may feel after a few minutes of pranayama and a few minutes of dhyana, breathwork and meditation. And thanking yourself, practicing kindness with yourself, and just expressing gratitude for your body. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. Thank you for showing up here with me. And we will go ahead and move into our vinyasa flow. So where you're at, you can come onto all fours on your mats, maybe moving any props you use for your meditation out of the way. All fours into a tabletop position. Shoulders stacked over your elbows, elbows stacked over your wrists. Fingers pointed towards the top edge of your mat. Maybe you have your toes curled underneath. Inhaling, we'll move into our cow, lowering our belly down to the earth, chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Exhaling, rounding the spine, tucking your belly button in, gazing at your knees or your thighs, pressing into the mat. Inhaling, lowering your belly to the mat, chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Exhaling into your cat, rounding through the spine, pressing your palms deeply into the mat, pressing your body away. A couple more rounds of cat-cows, getting your spine warmed up for this practice. Going at your own pace, waking your body up. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and meet me in a neutral tabletop. We'll do some side bends, bringing that right shoulder close to our right sit bone, gazing behind us. Coming back to center, now bringing that left shoulder to touch our right sit bone or as close as you can get to it. Waking up the side body. Twisting, bringing that left shoulder close to your, or right shoulder close to your right sit bones or right hip bone. Bringing bringing that left shoulder close to your left hip bone, coming back into a neutral tabletop. From here, we can go ahead and lift our sit bones high into the air, pressing into our mat, coming into our first downward facing dog. Pedaling out your feet, maybe wagging your tail, whatever feels good in your body right now. I encourage you to practice that. Maybe you're lifting up on your tippy toes and coming back down to the mat. Making sure you're breathing, sending your breath to the parts of the body that need it most. And on your next inhale, go ahead and gaze at the top edge of your mat. Hop, step, or jump to the top of your mat. Exhale, lowering into a forward fold. Inhaling all the way up, root to rise. Hands extend overhead, gazing at your fingertips. Exhaling, hands come to heart center. Go ahead and lower your arms to your sides of your body. Palms facing the front edge of your mat. Hips squared to the front of the room. Grounding deeply through the soles of your feet into the earth, feeling that supportive earth energy beneath you. Allowing earth's energy to come through the soles of your feet, through your whole body, strengthening you. Go ahead and roll your shoulders up to your ears and down your back, getting a nice chest and shoulder blade opener. Switching directions, rolling your shoulders forward to the front of your body. Maybe doing a couple of neck circles, introducing some small movements to the body, waking yourself up for this practice. Getting acclimated with your body and your space, feeling grounded. Return to that intention you set for yourself, remembering why you're here today on your mat, and thanking yourself for being here. So we'll go ahead and do a couple rounds of classical sun sals, and then we'll move into sun sal A's, and then we'll jump right into our flow today. It won't be too much work because it is a Monday, and Mondays are about rest and rejuvenation, so we'll take it easy on ourselves and set us up for a good week. Inhaling your hands overhead, maybe interlocking your fingers, keeping your pointer fingers and your thumbs out, activating that Kali Mudra, taking a slight back bend, gazing at your fingertips. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back, extending through the spine, body at a right angle. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, hands overhead, activating that Kali Mudra, maybe taking that slight back bend. Exhale, hands at heart center. I will note that that was a sun breath, and that's normally not included in the classical series, but I did it anyway. So hopefully you liked that warm up, but we'll move into our classicals now. Inhaling, our hands up overhead, slight back bend, gazing up at the sky. Exhaling, forward fold, planting your hands into the mat. Step your right foot back, lower your right knee down to the mat. Chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Bring your left foot to meet your right into a high plank position. On your exhale, you're gonna lower your knees, your chest, and your chin to the mat. Shoulders or elbows tucked into your sides. Inhaling into your cobra, chin and chest up, gaze up. Exhale into your downward facing dog. And we'll take 5 deep breaths here. Well, let's do 3. Still waking up that body, maybe pedaling your feet or wagging your tail. And on your next inhale, you're gonna step your right foot by your right thumb Lower your left knee down to the mat, chin and chest up, gaze up. Bring your left foot to meet your right at the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhaling all the way up, root to rise. Taking that slight back bend, gaze up at your fingertips. Exhaling, hands at heart center. Inhaling your hands up overhead, gaze up, slight back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your hands into the mat. Step your right foot back. Nope, step your left foot back. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Hand palms planted into your mat. Step your right foot to meet your left into a high plank position. Lower your knees down to the mat. Lower your chest, lower your chin. Inhaling into your cobra. Elbows tucked into your side body. Gazing up. Getting a nice chest opener here. Curl your toes underneath. Lift your sit bones high into the air. Push back into your downward facing dog. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Noticing if the left side of your body feels different than the right. That's normal. And on your next inhale, gaze in between your fingers. Step your left foot by your left thumb. Lower your right knee down to the mat. Chin and chest up, gaze up. Bring your right foot to meet your left at the top of your mat. Forward fold. Bringing your chest as close to your knees as possible. Maybe you have a slight bend in the knee. Remembering to do what's best for your body. Inhaling all the way up, root to rise. Gazing up at your fingertips, taking a slight back bend. Exhaling, hands at prayer center. We're gonna do one more round of that. We're gonna speed it up this time. Inhaling your hands up, gaze up, slight back bend. Exhaling, forward fold. Plant your hands into the mat. Step your right foot back. Lower your right knee down to the mat. Gaze up. Bring your left foot to meet your right into a high plank position. Lower your knees, lower your chest, chin down to the mat. Inhaling into your cobra. Curling your toes, lifting your sit bones high into the air, pushing back into your downward facing dog. Gazing at your calves or your thighs or your knees. Feeling a nice full body stretch in your arms, your legs, your hips. Breathing deeply. Noticing where your body is holding tension and releasing. On your next inhale, step your right foot by your right thumb. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Chin and chest up, gaze up. Bring your left foot to meet your right at the top of the mat. Forward fold. Bringing your chest close to your thighs. Inhaling all the way up, root to rise. Slight back bend. Exhale, hands at heart center. Inhaling your hands up, slight back bend. Exhaling, forward fold. Step that left leg back. Lower your left knee down to the mat. Chin and chest up to the sky. Gaze up. Bring your right foot to meet your left in a high plank position. Knees, chest, chin. Inhaling into your cobra. Pressing your pelvic floor deeply into the mat. Curling your toes underneath. Lifting your hips and sit bones high into the air. Downward facing dog. Breathe here, breathe deeply. Stay focused in your body, noticing how you feel throughout this practice. Step your left foot by your left thumb. Lower your right knee down to the mat, chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Bring your right foot to meet your left at the top of your mat, forward fold. Maybe take opposite elbows and swing back and forth, ragdoll. Maybe you just have your arms dangling. Whatever feels good for you. Coming back into a normal forward fold. Inhaling all the way up. Activate that Kali Mudra, taking a slight back bend, gazing up at your fingertips. Exhale, hands at heart center. And now we'll move directly into our Sun Sal A's. Inhaling our hands up, gaze up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back, extending through the spine. Plant your hands into the mat, jump or step back into a plank position. Moving from a high plank to a low plank. Inhaling into your upward facing dog. Palms planted into the mat. Tops of your feet planted into the mat as well. Gazing up, chest up, chin up. Curl your toes underneath. Push your body into a downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths here. Maybe practicing Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi breathing is as if you're blowing fog into a mirror, but your mouth remains closed. Keeps you connected to your practice and your body. Gazing up at the top edge of your mat, jump or step to the top of your mat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling halfway, Inhaling halfway lift, flat back. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, root to rise. Exhaling, hands at heart center. One more Sun Sal A. And by the way, the difference between Sun Sal A's and classicals, one is for the classical salutations, you take a slight back bend. For the regular Sun Sal A's, you do not. So inhaling our hands up overhead, gazing up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, extending through the spine. Plant your hands into the mat, jump or step back into your plank position. Moving through your chaturanga, keeping your elbows close to your body. Inhaling into your upward facing dog, chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Tops of the feet planted into the mat as well as your palms. Curling your toes underneath, lift your sit bones and hips high into the air. Press back into your downward facing dog. Taking 5 deep breaths here. Gazing in between your fingertips. Step your right foot close to your right thumb, lowering your left knee down to the mat, coming up into a low plank position. Scooting your right toes towards the top edge of your mat, feeling a nice stretch in your left hip. You can uncurl your toes and have the top of your left foot flat on the mat. Tucking your tailbone underneath so you have alignment from your tailbone all the way out through the crown of your head. Maybe pressing your palms into your right thigh, or maybe you're inhaling your hands up overhead and taking a slight back bend like we did in the classical salutations, gazing up at your fingertips, grounding deeply through that right sole of your foot. Exhaling, bringing your fingertips to the top of the mat, adjusting your legs so they're at 90-degree angles, knees stacked over your ankles, hips stacked over your knees. Go ahead and extend your left hand up to the sky. Bring your left bicep or your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Bring your left hand to the back, to your lower back, fingertips pointed towards the mat. Taking a deep inhale and twisting, gazing over that right shoulder. Remembering to breathe in this twist. Releasing the twist, Bring your palms down to the mat, coming into a tabletop position. Taking just one round of cat-cows, lowering your belly down to the mat, chin and chest up to the sky, gaze up. Exhaling, rounding spine, tucking your belly button into your abdomen, gazing at your thighs, pressing from your palms. Coming into a neutral tabletop, lift your sit bones and hips up into the air into a downward facing dog. Arms extended, palms pressed into the mat. Step your left foot by your left hand, lower your right knee down to the mat. You can have the top of your right foot flat on the mat, coming into a low lunge. Scooting your left toes closer to the top edge of your mat, hips squared towards the front of the room. Tucking that tailbone in or tilting your pelvic floor forward so there's alignment from your tailbone all the way out to the crown of your head. And you can press your palms into your left thigh for a nice stretch in your right thigh, or you can inhale your hands up overhead, gazing at your fingertips and take a slight back bend. Activating that Kali Mudra, feeling grounded through the left sole of your foot. It's okay if you wiggle a little bit, this is a practice. Releasing that, bringing the tips of your fingers to touch the mat, adjusting your legs so they're at 90-degree angles, knees stacked over your ankles, hips stacked over your knees, top of your right foot flat on the mat. Extend your right arm up to the sky and bring the outside of your right arm to the outside of your left leg. Bring your left hand to your lower back, fingers pointed towards the earth. Taking a deep inhale, exhaling as you twist deeper. Exhaling as you twist deeper, gazing over that left shoulder. If that's uncomfortable for your neck, you can always just gaze forwards or whatever feels best for your body. All bodies are different, so just do what's best for yours. Releasing the twist. Bringing your palms down to the mat, bringing your left knee down to the mat to a tabletop position. Inhaling, lowering your belly down to the mat, gazing up, chin and chest up. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. Coming into a neutral tabletop position. Maybe coming into a child's pose if you need that rest, whatever feels good for you. Otherwise, you can stay in tabletop for a little bit, maybe doing a few more cat-cows. And from your tabletop, I invite you to lift your knees off the mat or curl your toes underneath your feet, lifting your knees up off the mat, lifting your sit bones and hips into the air into your downward facing dog. As we move into our standing poses. Gazing in between your fingertips, step your right foot by your right thumb, rising up into your warrior one position. Back foot at a 45-degree angle, front foot, toes pointed towards the top edge of your mat, arms extended upwards, making sure your shoulders are relaxed away from your ears and your hips are squared towards the short edge of your mat. To ensure that your shoulders are relaxed, go ahead and bring your palms to face one another, noticing how your shoulders naturally drop away from your ears. Now keeping those shoulders dropped as you return your palms to where they were, which is still facing each other. Making sure that pelvic floor is tilted forward, feeling really strong through that back foot. We'll go ahead and open up our arms to a T position, warrior two. Back foot parallel with the short edge of your mat, gazing over your fingertips, your right fingertips. Hips opened towards the long edge of your mat. Inhaling, lifting your arm up, maybe sliding that left arm down your leg. Peaceful warrior, opening your chest up to the sky. Breathe in deeply here. Exhaling, coming back into a warrior two. Bringing your right forearm to rest on the top of your right thigh. Swinging your left arm in front of your body, opening up into an extended side angle pose, gazing up at the sky. Inhaling into a warrior two, arms at a T position, shoulders relaxed away from your ears. Exhaling and cartwheel your arms down to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left in a high plank position and move through your chaturanga. Inhaling into your upward facing dog. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. Take 5 deep breaths here. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side of your body. So curling your toes underneath, you're probably in a downward facing dog right now actually. So go ahead and step your left foot close to your left thumb, bringing your right foot to a 45-degree angle towards toes pointed towards the top corner of your mat, lifting up into a warrior one. Hips squared towards the short edge of your mat. Pelvic floor tilted forward, feeling very strong through that back foot. Inhaling into a warrior two, arms at a T position, hips open up to the long edge of your mat. Gazing over your left fingertips. Inhaling into your peaceful warrior, opening your chest up to the sky. Coming back into that warrior two, gazing over your fingertips, arms at a T. Bring your left forearm to rest on the top of your left thigh, bringing that right arm to swing in front of your body, opening it up to the sky, opening your chest up, inhaling deeply, feeling a nice side body opener. Coming back into that warrior two position, arms at a T position, hips open towards the long edge of your mat. Cartwheel your arms down to the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right into a high plank position. Move through your chaturanga. Or maybe you want to do a classical knees, chest, chin. Surya Namaskar A. Inhaling into your upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling into your downward facing dog. Taking 5 deep breaths there. If that's feeling challenging for your body, remember you can always return to a child's pose. Breathing deeply, noticing how you feel after our standing series. And wherever you're at right now, go ahead and meet me in a downward facing dog. Gaze in between your fingers. Step or jump to the top of your mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhaling all the way up, root to rise, hands extend over your head, gazing up at your fingertips. Exhaling, hands can come to rest at your sides. We're gonna move into our tree pose, everyone's favorite pose. Feet are hip width distance apart. Feeling grounded through the soles of your feet. This is a great pose if you're ever having feelings of anxiety, reminding yourself that you can always do a tree pose, grounding yourself with Earth's energy. So we'll start by grounding our right foot into the mat and swinging your left leg. Maybe just back and forth, testing our stability today. And you can either have your toes resting on the mat while your ankle rests on your calf. You can bring the entire sole of your foot to rest on your calf, or you can bring the sole of your foot to rest on the inside of your right thigh. I'm gonna stick with the sole of my foot on my calf. And you can inhale your hands up and gaze up like a large tree, or maybe you want a nice heart opener. You can cactus your arms and squeeze your shoulder blades together, gazing up slightly, whatever feels best for you. I invite you to find a drishti, a non-moving object, to center your focus. And if you really want to challenge yourself, you can try closing your eyes and seeing if you remain balanced. And it's okay to wobble. More than okay. Wherever you're at, bring your left leg to a 90-degree angle, extending the sole of your foot in front of you, lowering that left leg down to the mat. Wiggle your legs out. We'll go ahead and do the right side of our left side of our body, grounding that left foot down into the mat. Toes spread, all four corners of your foot pressed into the earth. Swinging that right leg, maybe back and forth or in front of you, just testing your stability. It's normal to have two different stable positions on your body. Like, you might not be as stable as you were on that foot. And it really doesn't matter. Yoga is a practice, and we're just here to grow wherever we're at. So again, you can do the same thing you did on your right side of your body, maybe resting your toes on the mat, leaving your heel to rest on your calf, maybe the entire sole of your foot resting on your calf, or you can bring the sole of your foot to the inside of your left thigh. Again, I'm going to have the sole of my foot resting on my calf, making sure your hips are squared and even with one another. Your left hip should not be any higher than your right. And maybe extending your hands overhead or cactusing your arms for a chest opener. Feeling stable in your body. Maybe focusing on that drishti or closing your eyes for more of a challenge. Make your tree pose fun. Do whatever feels good for you today. Wherever you're at, bring your right foot to a 90-degree angle. You can rest your arms at your sides. Extend your leg forward and lower that right leg down to the mat. Wiggle out your legs. Woo. Wiggle out your whole body. Maybe pedal your feet. Ragdoll your arms. We're gonna go ahead and move into our chair pose. So you can have your feet hip width distance apart, feet parallel to one another, or you can have your big toes touching, whatever feels most comfortable in your body. Act as if you're sitting in a chair, straight line. Imagine there's a line running from your tailbone all the way out through the crown of your head. So you're aligned through your spine. Arms can be extended up, out in front of you. Chest open. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Exhale, sit lower into your chair. Feeling the burn through your legs, maybe your core and your arms. We're gonna hold here for 5 more breaths. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sink lower into your chair pose. 3 more breaths. 1 more deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Nice job. We're gonna move into crow. So if you're a beginner to crow, I invite you to take a block if you have a prop, and you can just bring your toes on the block. Have your knees facing opposite directions of one another. and bringing your forearms to the insides of your knees, squeezing your forearms tightly into your knees are squeezing back. And you're just gonna have chaturanga arms, so your arms are tucked into the sides of your body. What helps me feel grounded in crow is having a slight, like a little bit of space in between the fingers and the mat. So it's like almost like I'm making a crow, like crow hands. Just a little bit of space and pressing my fingertips deeply into the mat, squeezing your knees into your forearms, lifting up your toes off the block, and balancing through your arms, gazing at the top edge of your mat. You can take one foot off, taking the other foot, maybe lifting both feet off the mat, balancing on your hands. Whew. Whenever you're ready, you can step, hop, or jump into a high plank position and move through your chaturanga, lowering down into a low plank, inhaling to an upward facing dog, exhaling into a downward facing dog, maybe coming into a child's pose. Maybe a wide-legged child's pose, knees at opposite sides of your mat, sinking your hips close to the mat, extending your arms out in front of you. Maybe resting your forehead on the mat as well. Giving yourself a nice forehead massage. Thanking yourself for showing up to your practice today, showing up for yourself and your body. Remembering to breathe, noticing sensations in our body, noticing the thoughts that flow by in our mind. Remembering that we are simply the witness and the divinity within. We are not our emotions or our thoughts. We witness them. Wherever you're at, meet me in a downward facing dog. Lift your right foot off the mat into a three-legged dog. Bring your knee to touch your right knee to touch your right elbow. And then extend your legs so that your calf is parallel to the top edge of your mat. We're moving into our pigeon pose. If you notice your right hip is lifted or uneven to your left, you can place a block, a blanket, or a pillow to keep both hips even with one another. And it's okay if your calf isn't exactly parallel to the top edge of your mat. I always notice it's sort of diagonal, more so in alignment with the right corner of my mat. From here, you should feel a nice stretch in your right hip and sit bone. Maybe bringing your forearms down to the mat. Maybe resting your forehead on the mat. Allowing ourselves to feel, noticing what comes up in pigeon pose. It's a very vulnerable position. The hips are where we store our emotions. Just seeing what's coming up for you in this position, this posture. Lifting your body back up, pressing your palms into the mat. And go ahead and move that block out of the way. Keep it nearby so you can use it on the left side of your body if needed. Curling your right toes underneath, lifting your right leg up into a three-legged dog, opening your hips up, maybe taking a couple hip circles in one direction, reversing the direction, taking hip circles in the other. Coming back to squaring your hips towards the mat, lowering your right knee down to the mat. Pedaling out your feet, noticing a difference, if there is one, between your left and your right hip bones. Feeling through your downward facing dog. Extend your left leg up to the sky, flexing your foot, toes pointed towards the earth, into a three-legged dog. Bring your left knee to touch your left elbow, bringing your calf parallel to the top edge of your mat, sliding that right leg down your mat, back toes pointed towards the back of the room. Again, if you feel unevenness between your hips, you can go ahead and place a block underneath your left hip so that they are even with one another. Noticing if the left side of your body feels any different than the right. I noticed that my left side of my body is a little more tense and tight in pigeon. And I will mention that the left side of the body is associated with feminine energies as well as the moon. And today is Moon Day, whereas the right side of the body is associated with masculine energy and the sun. So I often notice that my feminine energies are tight, or I carry tension on that side of my body. So just noticing things like that is interesting. Go ahead and do the same thing you did on your right side of your body, feeling into the posture, maybe lowering your forehead down to the mat. Slowing our practice down, slowing our breath. We're almost at the finish line. Whenever you're ready, you can press yourself back up, palms pressed into the mat, moving that block out of the way. Curling your right toes underneath your body, extending your left leg up to the sky into a three-legged dog, stacking your hips, taking a couple hip circles in one direction, reversing the direction, extending that left leg out into a three-legged dog, lowering your foot back down to the mat into a downward facing dog. Coming into a child's pose, taking some deep breaths here. Breathing deeply. From child's pose, go ahead and lift your sit bones off of your heels, coming onto all fours. Then lifting your abdomen so that it is perpendicular with your mat, sitting your sit bones on top of your heels. If that's uncomfortable, you can take a block, place it in between your calves and sit on the block. If that's not feeling good, you can go ahead and take the block, rest it on your calves, and just take a seat on that. A pillow, a blanket, a block, any of that will work. I'm gonna go ahead and use my meditation cushion. We're gonna do cow face pose. Extend your right arm up to the sky. Bring your left arm out to your side body, left thumb pointed towards the earth. Wrap your left arm behind your back, and then take your right fingertips to grab your left fingertips, pressing the back of your head into the crease of your right arm where your elbow is. Feeling a nice stretch in your arm. Making sure pretending there is a line coming from your tailbone all the way out through the crown of your head, tilting your pelvic floor forward. And for more of a challenge, and you should feel a nice opening in your chest, feeling your shoulder blades squeezing closer together. For more of a challenge, you can Extending from the hips, bend forward. Bringing your front body closer to your mat. Feeling a deep stretch in that right forearm. Coming back up. Releasing your arms and giving them a nice wiggle. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Extend your left arm up to the sky. Bring your right arm to your side body. Right thumb pointed towards the earth. Wrap your right arm behind your back. Left fingertips come to touch the right fingertips in a cow face pose. Back of your head pressing into that left arm crease. If you're unable to reach your fingertips, you can always grab your shirt or a strap, whatever allows you to feel that stretch in your left arm. Remembering to keep your pelvic floor tilted forward. A line of energy running from your tailbone all the way out to the crown of your head. Maybe bending forward slightly for a deeper stretch, keeping your head pressed into your arm crease. Coming back up, releasing your arms, giving your arms a nice shake. Noticing how your arms feel after that stretch. If your energy feels any more fluid through your body. We're gonna go ahead and come onto all fours. Lifting your knees off the mat, curling your toes underneath, lifting your sit bones and hips high into the air into a downward facing dog. Fingertips pointed towards the top edge of your mat. Lower your forearms down to the mat one at a time into a dolphin pose. Forearms parallel with one another and parallel with the long edges of your mat. Squeezing your shoulder blades together. Feeling a nice chest stretch, opening through your chest. Heels pulling close to your mat. Toes pressed into the earth, gazing up slightly. From here, you can go ahead and lower your knees down to the mat and create a basket with your hands. Your elbows and forearms are pressed into the mat, so you're creating a little basket for your head, placing the crown of your head into your basket, protecting your neck. Lifting your knees off the mat, walk your toes closer to your head, preparing for your headstand. Feeling lots of strength through your forearms. Maybe lifting one leg off the mat, maybe lifting the other. And if a headstand is a part of your practice, you can go ahead and lift both legs off the mat, balancing on the crown of your head, remembering to breathe. If not, you can just stay with me, walking your feet close as to your head as possible, as close with remaining comfortable. If you're in a headstand, you can go ahead and come out of that. If not, lower your knees down to the mat, coming into a tabletop position. Bringing your sit bones to touch your mat. Coming into, I think, seated Tadasana maybe. Soles of your feet pointed towards the top edge of your mat. Sit bones grounded into your mat as well. Lengthening your spine. Again, imagining that line of energy running from your tailbone out through the crown of your head. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears. We're going to move into our shoulder stand. So you can bring the soles of your feet to touch your mat. And extend your arms out in front of you, palms facing each other. Roll your body down to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. Soles of your feet pressed into the mat still. And from here, You can extend your legs straight up so that the soles of your feet are pointed towards the sky. Maybe just rolling your body back a little bit so you can rest your forearms and elbows into the mat. Securing your sides with your hands. Coming into a shoulder stand. Remembering to breathe even though your body is constricted. Cultivating a sense of stillness. If it's a part of your practice, you can start to lower your knees close to your forehead and then extend your feet behind your head, coming into a plow pose. Toes touching behind your head. Breathing here. You can lay your arms flat on the mat. From your plow, go ahead and slowly roll your body flat on your mat, bringing the soles of your feet to touch the earth. We're going to do a bridge pose and then move into a wheel if it's a part of your practice. So bringing your fingertips to graze your ankles, spine flat on the mat, tilting your pelvic floor forward, decreasing the curvature of your spine. Soles planted deeply into the earth, and lifting one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and lift up into a bridge pose, using your legs to keep you strong in this posture. Breathing here. Not clenching your sit bones, but allowing your legs to do the work. Holding here for 4 more breaths. Exhale and begin to lower your body down to the mat, 1 vertebrae at a time. And you can either do another bridge pose, or you can bring the palms of your hands to the outside of your head, elbows pointed towards the sky. I like to lift and put the crown of my head on my mat, and then pressing my palms into the mat into a wheel pose, a full body opener. Hold here. Keep holding if you're in your bridge as well. Feeling a nice full body stretch. Begin to lower your crown back down to the mat, rolling your body back flat on the mat, extending your arms to your sides. Going ahead, scooting your arms closer to one another, maybe sitting on your forearms, legs extended straight in front of you. Lifting up through pressing your elbows and forearms to the mat, coming into a fish pose. Maybe your crown is rested on the top of your mat. Imagining a blue ball of energy at your throat, opening up your throat chakra. Inhale deeply into your throat and your chest. Exhale, coming into a mini shavasana. Noticing how your chest feels. Noticing how your body feels as we come to the end of our practice today. From your mini shavasana, go ahead and roll onto one side. Lifting your body up, pressing your arms and palms of your hands into the mat. Coming into a seated position. We're going to do a seated forward fold pose. Sit bones planted into the earth. Spine aligned from your tailbone through the crown of your head. Shoulders relaxed away from your ears, chest up. Go ahead and inhale your hands up overhead. Exhale, extending from the hips. Try to grab your toes, maybe the sides of your feet, pulling your chest close to your thighs and your knees. Maybe squeezing your shoulder blades closer together, opening up your chest, breathing in deeply here. You can flex your toes so they're pointed towards your face. And not rounding our spine, but remembering to extend from the hips. Feeling a nice stretch in your calf muscles and the backs of your legs. Breathing in here deeply. Releasing your feet, coming back up into a seated position, legs extended out in front of you. Bring the right sole of your foot to touch the inside of your left leg. Turn your body so that your abdomen is lifted over your left leg. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, bring your right hand to grab the outside of your left foot. Maybe lowering your chest and your head down to your left leg, head to knee pose. Feeling a nice stretch in that right side of your body. You can have your left arm extended out in front of you, maybe to the side. Breathe here deeply. Releasing the pose, extending your right leg to meet your left leg into a seated, extended pose. Bringing the left sole of your foot to touch the inside of your right thigh. Twisting so your torso is extended over your right leg. Inhaling your hands up overhead. Exhale, bring your left hand to grab the outside of your right foot. Twist, bringing your chest and your forehead close to your thigh and your right knee. Feeling a nice stretch in your right leg as well as the left side of your body. Maybe having your right arm extended to this out to the side. Breathe here. Let go of this pose. Bring the soles of your feet to touch one another. We're gonna do Lord of the Fish, or no, this is, what is this called? Six-pointed star pose. So we're having our soles of our feet touch one another, creating a diamond with our legs. You don't want your heels too close to your pelvic floor. You want to have it kind of extended out in front of you. And extending from the hips. Extend your arms up overhead, activating your Kali Mudra. And then extending from the hips. Bring your palms to the outsides of your feet, if that makes sense. So we're holding our toes in our hands with our Kali Mudra still activated. So we have a six-pointed star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that makes sense. Not rounding our spine, but bringing our chest close to our feet. Keeping our chest open. Shoulder blades squeezing together. Knees pressing down to your mat. See how close you can bring your chest to your feet. Breathe here. From here, go ahead and extend your legs out in front of you as we move into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Or before that, you can go ahead and rest in a mini Shavasana and take any poses that are a part of your practice that we may have missed. Maybe taking a happy baby, kicking one leg at a time, bringing your knees close to your armpits, maybe extending both legs at the same time. Maybe bringing your knees close to your body and giving yourself big kisses. Just showing your body some love and gratitude for being so strong throughout this practice. And whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and lay flat on your back. Body extended. Letting it all go here. Sinking deeply into your mat. Not trying, but just floating into your well-deserved Shavasana pose. Maybe your eyes are closed here. Letting your body integrate the practice you just did. Noticing how you feel after this vinyasa flow and how it feels to rest. Coming back to your body whenever you're ready. Maybe introducing some small movements, maybe wiggling your toes and your fingertips. Maybe rocking your head back and forth, one cheek at a time on the mat. Taking a nice big good morning stretch, extending your arms up overhead, getting a nice full body stretch, inhaling deeply, exhaling slowly and fully. Taking your time, rolling onto one side of your body, or maybe just ending your practice in Shavasana and just listening to my voice as we complete our practice today. I invite you to meet me in an easy pose, sit bones, resting deeply into your mat, arms in whatever placement feels right. Bringing your hands to heart center, reminding yourself of the intention you set at the beginning of this practice, coming back to that, and acknowledging that it is done, you are heard, and you are loved. Keeping your eyes closed, keeping your gaze softened if your eyes are open. Giving yourself some moments of self-love, acknowledging your hard work today, thanking yourself for showing up. tender practice. You can go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose, exhaling out of your mouth. Taking one more deep inhale, exhaling out of your mouth. And I invite you to join me in Om as we complete this practice. Inhaling for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope this practice and the benefits of it follow you throughout your entire day, your entire week. And yeah, thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day today.